All right, boys. Today, so I normally don't do this. But today we are going to be talking about some more stuff about the episode. Okay, theories. What is really going on with this episode? Okay, theories on what the fuck happened. What does this mean for Subaru's character and how he's gonna react? We got a lot of stuff today. Okay, so first things first. Let's go here, right? Let's go back here, right? To the moment right here. So, the first theory that we're gonna go with is read the book. So, I have an idea that maybe could be wrong. Obviously, these theories all could be wrong, but it would make so much sense if he goes into this room right here, because obviously maybe he's looking for Reed's book, right? So he says, I'm gonna think of a way to go for Reed, and then boom, right? He thinks of it right here. He looks at the stairs and he comes up with the idea. I think that maybe that could be it. What else could it be? So what's wrong with that theory? How did he find it? Because there's so many books, and that's like kind of like one of the biggest points of like episode, it was like 5, right, where there's so many books and like you can't find every single book of every person because there's so many. I think a bird led him to it. And we watched the Ekanut video. The birds still have to do with Pandora. The Pandora birds are not her, but they're like cameras. CCTV, bro. They're still cameras. So, I think that if Subaru obviously can't find the fucking book, maybe a bird, a Pandora bird or something led him to it. It would not even be crazy. And maybe it's not even just Reed's book. Maybe it's like multiple books. What if the bird led him to books of many people? You know what I mean? Obviously, one of those books cannot be Satella because Satella's not dead. So, Reed's one of them. Echidna book? Who says that Echidna book isn't there? You know what I mean? So, Flugel. What about Flugel, right? So there's a lot of possibilities with the books, but obviously the main one that he's looking for is Reed. The Reed book. The only way this works, if okay, no pun intended because he said it right there in the subs. The only way this works is because a bird led him to it, because there's too many books. How else would he find it? Unless Subaru got lucky. What, Subaru got lucky? His stars are so good, as a man would, as a wise man would say back in season 3, right? Maybe his stars were good, and he found it luckily, because Subaru's like that. But I would like to believe that maybe it's more of a bird or something, right? Now, here's another thing. How does this right here, him going into this room, lead to, what are motherfuckers calling him? Amnesia Baru? He loses memories, right? So, how does it lead to this? So, the only possibilities are, it could be Natsuki Daniel, it could be Daniel, but on a real note, there are multiple ways this could have happened. The first one, and the probably the most common one, would probably be gluttony. Now, I have an issue with the gluttony theory. How would gluttony be there, right? I cannot been a fake theory. That's probably bullshit. But like, it's kind of interesting to think that like maybe Rem is like Rui, because Rui can like transform into other people, and she's just role playing, LARPing as Rem. But no. Let's focus on that room specifically and what happened there. How would Gluttony get in here though? Sand time is the thing. Is Gluttony fast enough to get past sand time? Were they even under the radar? Like, how would that work? How did they get past sand time? Was Shala distracted? Where was Shala? Now that I think of it, if we go back, Where's Shala? She didn't. She was here in the beginning, and then we just cut to this, right? So Shala's really not even here. Where's Shala posted up at, right? Maybe she, you know what's a funny thought? That maybe she was busy with sand time, but I don't know where she was, right? And it could have, she could have done sand time, and maybe Gluttony got past it. But I just don't know if like they're strong enough to get past it. That's my thing. I don't know. I don't know if Gluttony's that fast. Also, another thing would be that like Gluttony is just sneaking around and taking their time, and like they ambush people. But like, why is Gluttony playing like that? What a weird way to play the strategy. You know what I mean? So that's an interesting thing, right? It could have been Gluttony. There was a theory that I had about Shala, but I think it's wrong because I don't think it would make sense. That maybe Subaru got cooked by Shala because he broke a rule. But it would not make sense because Shala said that she was going to become a killing machine. She was probably going to transform into a scorpion, which obviously at this point I think that, I think the theory about her being a witch beast just makes sense because maybe she's just a scorpion and Melee, is very close to her. I think that her transforming and it being Shala, I think you could probably take that off the checklist. I don't think it would make sense because she transformed into a killing machine, not a memory wiping machine. I don't think that's how it works. So I don't think it's that. Now, a little funny thought now that we're already talking about Shala. Subaru lost the memories, right? What's a funny thought? Since he lost everything, he forgot about the rules. So now that he forgot about the rules, we might get something in the future where Subaru dies because he broke one of the rules that he doesn't know. Everyone else remembers the rules, right? Everyone else remembers, but will there be a situation where they have to remind Subaru of the rules? Probably fucking not. What situation would get him to remember that? Or like them telling him that? So, one of the funny situations that I think might happen, one of the funny deaths, will be him breaking a rule. I think depending on how he acts here, so my prediction on how he acts to this information, I think that they're not okay. Funny deaths, okay, they're not funny. You know what I mean though? Like interesting to think about. That's what I mean when I say that. It will be interesting to see how they tell him. Will they go over the events that he's done? Probably. Will Subaru believe the events that he's being told? Probably fucking not. This version of Subaru is even before episode 1. Or I guess it technically is episode 1 because that's when he got summoned. So, once they start telling him like, yo, you killed Petalgeese. Yo, you killed the rabbits. Yo, I don't know, Betty starts telling him like, you saved me and stuff, like the library stuff. Emilia starts talking to him. Now it's interesting because it's like, how will he react? He's probably gonna be like, I would never do that. Who is that? What version are you talking about? And I think it's gonna be worse because obviously this version of Subaru is still, it just has no development. He doesn't even know what he's really capable of. Because to this day, the Arc 6 version of Subaru, that is obviously before the memory wiping, he already has issues with, self-confidence and believing in himself and, but obviously it's not going to be to the level of a Subaru that just gets summoned in here. You have no episode 18. You have no episode 18 RAM to tell you to start from 0 and for you to, pretty much let out all your feelings and talk about the fact that you hate yourself and all that to anyone. Obviously, like any development that has to do with that, expressing himself and, trying to get over those hurdles. Season 2, episode 13 of valuing life and all that. It's all gone. It's just all gone. So, I think it will all be up to how he reacts after everyone tells him everything. And then that could be what leads into him dying to Shala. Because maybe he's going to try to escape the tower. Y'all, you know what would be a funny thing? That, I say funny thing, but you know what I mean? Interesting. Okay, I gotta change my wording. It's not funny, but you know what I mean? It would be interesting if Subaru runs out the tower because he's like scared or, I don't know, panicking. What is one of the rules? One of the rules, you can't leave the tower. One of the deaths could be that. I think it could be something where he like tries to run away and maybe he escapes the tower because he's scared or something and he doesn't know what to think, and then maybe he dies to that. Because I still think that one of the deaths will be to Shala. There's no way that we go this entire season without seeing a death to Shala. And obviously we technically died to her in episode 3 and, you know, or not episode 3, my bad, episode 2 with the whole, you know, sniper thing. But I mean a death after we know the rules. We know the rules. We've seen Shala. We know Shala. We know how she acts, her personality, and, you know, how she thinks of Subaru as Flugel and all that. Now that we know all this information, it will be interesting to see a death to Shala. Because we broke the rules that we already know of. So that could be it. I think one of the deaths could be that. I think that Subaru dying to Shala because he escaped the tower, you know, just broke the fucking rules. That could be it. So, but going back to the whole thing about what happened in this scene right here of him going up the stairs, right? Going back to this. Going back to this right here. This frame right here. I don't think it's Shala. Will we die to Shala eventually? Maybe. But I don't think it's Shala the reason why. And especially if it's memory wiping. So, another thing is that another theory that you could go with, and it could be interesting, but at the same time, I don't know, with consistency, it could be wrong. So, you could say that he died here. Now, I don't think I'd go with this one. I don't think I would go with this one. It would be interesting if he died, but since the story and maybe the anime doesn't want you to just get the answer, they didn't play the sound. But I don't know if they would do that. Would they do that, something that misleading? Would they mislead you like that? I don't think so, right? Yeah, Betty found him collapsed, but that's still a theory, right? That he died. But me personally, right? Not only did Betty found him collapse, I don't think the anime would do that. Would there ever be a time? Every time Subaru has died, they've played the sound, right? I'm not mistaken about that. Every time that Subaru has died, they play the sound, right? I don't think there's ever been a death where they don't play the sound. Or like he like respawns or he comes back, right? They go like, oh, right? So I think that one's out the window, right? I don't think that makes any sense at all, especially with, I mean, if we could find a line where Betty goes, you know, he was collapsed, right? We found him. Subaru, you all right? Yeah, no. I was worried about you. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, no. So I think that theory doesn't make any fucking sense, but that's still something that, you know, I've heard, but I don't think it makes sense. Season 1, did I use the sound? Really? Wait, when? Is there a death in season 1 that they don't use the sound? Episode 1. That's true. But I don't know. Nah, I don't think so. But still, I don't think it would be a death. That would be too simple. Too straightforward. And I think too much is happening here for it to just be something as simple as a death, I think. You know? And them misleading you the entire time just for it to be a death. I don't think so. But that's still something out there to think about. But I still think that When he died in the mansion. I mean, when he died in the mansion, that's true. But I don't think they would do that. Yeah, I think anime. I don't think the anime would do that though. So, and obviously that would make no sense. So, throw that out the window. But it's still something I wanted to talk about because that's obviously, even though it's like a 0.1% chance, it's a possibility. I'm still gonna go with the Reed theory. Would make sense though. But if we go with the Reed theory, that means that probably a bird led him to the Reed book, and maybe other books too. So let's go with the Reed theory, right? What would happen if he read the books? So memory wiping, gluttony. What are the ways? Gluttony and contract. Ability, maybe? Someone has an ability to memory or like alter memories, kind of like Pandora. What other way would you do some sort of memory wiping? I think that's it, right? Like those three, I'm pretty sure. So it's either that memory wiping stuff, either have to do with gluttony, or information overload. Now, keep in mind, what happens when you try to read a book that's like heavy, like Typhon, right? The Typhon book made Subaru, you know, it was like rough, right? It would be interesting if he read the book or the books. It could be plural, it could be multiple fucking books, and maybe he couldn't handle the information, or maybe he read something that he wasn't supposed to, or some information that was not supposed that he was supposed to know. Maybe he read about Satella, right? Maybe not Satella book, but about Satella in another book, Flugel or something. And due to the information overload and the information, right? Maybe a lot of information, heavy information, too much, something that he wasn't supposed to know, right? A trap on the fucking book would be crazy. A trap on the book would be crazy. Like some ability that was said in the book that if you try to open Flugel's book, you get it cooked or something, like memory wiping. It could be something like that. And now, let's go to the opening. I think there's episode 6, right? Episode 6, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, episode 6. Let's go to the opening real quick. Over here, right? Where is it? Right here. This right here. This frame right here. The library. What was Subaru on the ground for? The books. The books on the ground. Y'all remember? Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? I don't know why if the frame was like actually we'll also get to this, by the way. We'll also get to the Subaru death here, but y'all know what I'm talking about, right? There was a frame of Subaru on the ground with the books, and I don't know if I can get it here, but pretty much, right? What would this mean? That I'm not on VLC right now, so I can't go frame by frame because like I'm on a completely different thing here. We could go VLC, but I gotta set that up. I don't have that set up right now. So y'all know what I'm talking about though. The books on the ground. Subaru was on the ground with the books in the library. The frame. What if he read the books? And because of that, he just like collapsed. We are still not confirmed where he was found collapsed. We don't know what room, we don't know where. What if the reason that frame right there of Subaru on the ground with the books, what if it's because he read information that was either too heavy or not allowed? He wasn't allowed to read that shit. Maybe a trap, maybe some spell on a specific book, like Flugel's book or some shit. Once he reads that shit, collapses, memory wiping. It could be. Because it would make sense. and why the frame of him on the ground with the books wouldn't make sense. So I would love to go for that theory, right? Yeah. He goes into the room. He goes into the room here. I guess I'll try. He goes into the room here. I guess I'll try to think of a way to deal with Reed. And then, okay, that's it. This works. If this works, the only thing you can really think of here in this moment is that he probably thought of a way to be Reed, and that way was probably he thought of the book. What about Reed's book? What about Reed's book? And then maybe he goes in here and then he, you know, everything happens, right? But I think the original idea was to find Reed's book. Now, he tries to find Reed's book, but obviously, it's, you know, kind of impossible. It's kind of impossible, right? So you probably a bird led him to it, or the books. If Betty found him collapsed, wouldn't she see which books he read? Yes, but at the same time, no. You know why? Yes, if we think about it logically and objectively. But no. Because what would she think when she sees her boy Subaru on the ground? She will not give a fuck about any books right now. She will not give any fucks about the book. She's like, she goes crazy, she panics, what did Emilia say? That she was like almost, she was like on the verge of crying, or she was crying, right? I really doubt that her worry would be what books he read. I really doubt that the books she read, or I don't think the first time would be, wait, what was he reading? Yo, let me take a look real quick. You know what I mean? Like, Subaru's on the ground, and she's like, let me just read this book real quick. Who was it? Like, no, obviously not. I think she panicked, and obviously brought him to the green room, and that's where we are. So, that theory goes strong. Yes, I've seen the Ekinut video. And actually, also talk about the Ekinut video. The bird theory also works. I think the bird led him to the books or some shit because the bird is still controlled by Pandora. The only difference is that it's not actually Pandora, the birds. It's just kind of like a camera. So, the Reed theory, the book theory of him like going to find information about Reed and maybe got information about other people still goes strong. It still makes sense. It actually makes sense. So that's actually a theory with like a strong substance. I think that would make a lot of sense. You know? There's also stuff about like maybe contract. Like, you know how like you can like lose memories and all that shit with contracts, but like who did he make a contract with? You know? Like, let's say he made a contract. Who did he go into this room with to make a contract with? And would Subaru even make a contract? Subaru literally didn't make a contract with Echidna. If Echidna doesn't get Subaru to do a contract, who the fuck else would? Right? Like, who would it be? He goes in, it's fucking, what, freaking, I don't know. I really don't know who it would be. I don't know who it would be and what would be the condition for him to convince to do a contract, honestly. Like, I don't think there's anyone in the fucking world. So, I don't think it was a contract. It would be crazy, though. It's kind of fun to think about. It's kind of fun to think about that Subaru went in and then he made a contract and GG's, you know what I mean? But actually, wait. I know how he would make a contract. You know how he would make a contract? Let's say he makes a contract with Pandora, but Pandora tells him that if he gets his memory wiped, this is fun to think about. We can make a deal. You get your memory wiped, and I'll send you back to like the real world. That'd be interesting. I think, would he do that? You think he would do that? I don't know. It would be a hard decision though, because like he already made a life here, but then he goes back to see his parents. Would he do it? Would he do it? I don't know. I don't think so. He's made a new life here. Emilio's here. I ain't gonna lie. There's some baddies here. I ain't gonna lie. There's some baddies here. So I don't think he would do a contract like that. But the reason that I'm bringing up a contract like that is because what else would it be? What other contract would even like? He would never leave Betty behind. That's a good comment right there. Yeah. So, you know, it's interesting to think about, obviously, but and I don't think he would accept it. But I'm just bringing up possible options of contracts. Some contract like that maybe would make him think about it, but I don't think so. But yeah, but the original thing is that he probably found a way to defeat Reed, or he wanted to, with the little line right here. So that's the only thing. I think that's like a theory that has so much substance. I don't think it's a contract. It's really hard to think that it's Gluttony. I don't know if Gluttony shapeshifted. There's like another theory about like Gluttony. It would be interesting that the before we even knew that the birds were about Pandora and all that, or like or like, you know, that we were sure that it was Pandora. It would have been funny if like one of the birds was like Gluttony, because like Rui can like you know, transform into beings or whatever the fuck, right? It would be interesting if like one of the birds is just Gluttony. one of the birds is fucking Gluttony. Okay, it's just Gluttony, and then the bird ate Subaru, but I don't think so. Or like the bird transformed into Rui and he, you know, ate Subaru, but I don't know. Would Subaru, oh, not Subaru, would Gluttony even be that sneaky? My issue is, if it's Gluttony, why is Gluttony so like sneaky? We're going insane, or we're 100% going insane? It can shapeshift, that's what I'm saying. It's a possibility, but why would Gluttony be so under the radar and so sneaky? Would they be like that? Would they be that sneaky and shit? Like, why would they be hiding or some shit? I don't know, like trying to like ambush. I don't know, like I guess maybe they could do that, like maybe try and get some good food or something, but I don't know. Reed, I think the Reed one is the strongest one. Going to the library, maybe information overload, some sort of like spell or trap that made him forget, or some information he wasn't supposed to read. Satella fluke out information or something. Maybe the bird led him there, or birds, and they led him to each book that he could read. He could have like, it could have been a thing where the reason that there's so many books in the opening and him on the ground and in the library, it could be interesting to think about that, like the reason that there's so many books and he's collapsed is because the bird, or like the birds, or hell, it doesn't really have to be the birds, it could have been something else that led him to every single book he could read. Think about it. If there's so many books, why would it just be reads? So what if he was led to read every single book he could? He could read a lot of books, definitely. All the witches he can read. He can definitely read about Flugel. You can definitely read about, fuck, there's a lot of characters. Petelgeuse, that's another book. You can read about Petelgeuse's book. Would the rabbits? No, the rabbits are not dead. That'd be funny. That'd be funny. Would the rabbits dying count as a count? Wait, do animals count? Was that ever said? Do animals count? I actually don't know. Do animals count, or is it just people? I think it's just people, right? Pretty sure it's just people. I think it's just book to the dead, but people. The bunnies are not dead anyway. Who else? Would he be able to read Flugel's book? I think he would. How is it decided again? It was if you like just know of the person, right? Because like, think about it. Subaru doesn't know every detail about like a witch like Carmilla, of course. You know what I mean? He just, I mean, he did see her, but he doesn't really know about her. Like, I don't know if it's like you have to see a person. You know what I mean? I don't know how that activates, but you know, it could just be the fact that like, if you're familiar with the person, oh, easy, he can read Flugel's book. What? That's 100%. What? He can definitely read that fucking book. Hey, if we go with the Subaru's Flugel theory, he's definitely very related to Flugel as well. So, or like maybe some memory of Flugel that he doesn't remember or something. So listen, I'm just saying, I think he could definitely read Flugel's book, and you know, but but let's say it wasn't Flugel's book that he in like that pile of books. It could have also just been, it could have just been what's it called, Reed as well. And obviously, you know, Reed's book could have a lot of information about Flugel. Who was it? Flugel, Hoshin, Sotella, and Echidna. You know, there's something I thought about that would be pretty funny, and I think this is like very schizo, and I think it makes no sense. It was said that if you read Echidna's book, your brain gets fried, right? A normal person can't read Echidna's book, right? You just get your brain fried. It would be interesting if somehow Subaru read, like, I don't know, Echidna's book, but in that Echidna memory, Echidna was reading the Tomb of Wisdom, and while in that memory, Subaru read the Tomb of Wisdom, and he gets his brain fried. I don't think so. I don't think so. But that's interesting, right? I don't know. But like, you definitely read a lot of books, right? Or something, if we're going off the opening. And I think the idea was Reed's book. But that's such a funny thing to think about. Like some Infinite Void shit, yeah. We're burning the kitchen, chill. It's interesting though. Like, what if like he read Echidna's book, but because it's every moment, he read Echidna's book, but Echidna's book obviously has the memories, and that memory had the memories have Echidna reading the Tomb of Wisdom, and then Subaru gets cooked. You know? Echidna said that the Echidna's book would answer all the questions in the lore. But what if, because my bad, because Subaru read that, he got his memories wiped, or as you say right there, overloaded, information overload. That's still what I said, information overload. And it could be interesting, but I don't think so. I don't know if it would be that, like he knew too much about everything, and that's why he got cooked. But that's probably the strongest theory, though. The strongest theory. How did Subaru read the Tomb of Wisdom? That's what I'm saying. Echidna's book. Echidna. Okay, what I mean by Echidna's book is her death. Like the death, like the death book. When I say Echidna's book, I mean like the book because she's dead, and that's the one. Yeah. The book of her death, and that's why I'm saying that if he reads the book of her life, in that book of her life would be her reading the Tomb of Wisdom, or the Tomb of Wisdom in general, and that's why his brain gets fried. That's what I'm thinking. You know what I mean? Wouldn't finding it be hard? That's why I think it was like a bird. I think a bird led him to the books or some shit. Because like the birds are technically still into play here. Maybe the birds led him to the books. Or whatchamacallit, something else. It doesn't just have to be the birds. It doesn't just have to be the birds. It could have been something else leading to, I don't know, some sort of signal or something. I don't know. But the birds make the most sense because that's the thing that we've seen the most. You know what I mean? You understand it now? Yeah. That's what I mean. Like, it would be interesting if, like, he read the Echidna life book, and that Echidna life book, because technically Subaru's not the one reading it, or, like, the one that, like, gets the Tomb of Wisdom. He can see the Tomb of Wisdom through Echidna's life. And then his brain gets fried. But I think that's too much. I think that's too much. I think at that point that's too much, right? I don't know if it will be that deep. So that's why I just think that it just has to do with the Reed theory of him going to go to the book, and maybe Grundy was in the way, or maybe he went to find Reed's book and information overload, or information that he wasn't supposed to know, right? I think that's the strongest theory, because like otherwise I don't know what it would be. He didn't die. He didn't die. Shala's a killing machine if he breaks a rule, not a memory wiping machine. So yeah, I think that's it. But I don't know, cause like maybe it was just something else, bro. Honestly, like maybe it was just a completely different thing. But I'm going based off what happened. You know what I mean? I'm going based off of what happened and what we've seen. So that's pretty much all I can really think about because of the bird theory. You know what I mean? I think the bird theory is the strongest one. Because like it's like maybe the bird led him to it. Because how else would he find the fucking bugs? There's no way that he would get that lucky. There's no way he gets that lucky. Where he's able to you know, get the birds, or like without the birds he finds every bug. The stars are not that good. Let's be a little realistic here. Maybe one book, but multiple books. Are the stars really that good? Are the stars really that good? I don't think so, right? So yeah, man. I think that for specifically this right here, I think that's all I've got. Now, yes, I know he's the GOAT. That's my GOAT. I love Subaru. That's my GOAT. But I'm just saying that I don't think the stars are that good. Something else I want to talk about. And this doesn't really have to... It doesn't really have to do with much of the theory itself. Let's go back to the opening, shall we? Subaru has his memories wiped, right? Subaru memories are wiped. But he still has to fit. He still has to fit, right? Right. The good old fit. This already confirms it's not exactly pre-Isekai Subaru with the tracksuit, with the little bag, right? Coming out of the store. It's not him. Well, it is him in terms of memories, but not clothing wise, right? So now that got me thinking, what Subaru is this, y'all? What Subaru is this? The original thinking is that this Subaru is just the normal R6 Subaru. But the fit is still here. This theory could be cooked because I don't know. But it would be an interesting thought that the reason they show all of the deaths here, all this past deaths, the Subaru now is learning about his deaths here. Now, I don't know what this room is. The wide room, normally wide room equals trial. We don't know the specifics of the trials, y'all. It's the OG. Let me get to my point, okay? The trials, right? It could be a trial where maybe he has to face his past or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? And it would be interesting to think, right? Now, obviously, right, the hair, as you said, the cape, right? It doesn't line up, right? It just doesn't line up. I think there's like a frame here of his hair. It's the Subaru that we know. But even then, with what he has on here, it would be interesting to think that what if there's a trial? What if there's a trial where he goes through his like I don't know, version of himself that he obviously doesn't know there? What if the trial has his memories? What if the trial has his memories and the only way he remembers is because he goes through everything again, but in the memories? That would be crazy. That would be crazy. Like, what if there's a trial where he has to remember himself and he sees all of his deaths and everything's gone through? Now, that would be fucking crazy. That's why specifically, if we're going based off clothing and hairstyle wise, it's not him. But then if we go based off just like the mechanics of like the trial, what if a trial has him doing this? You know? Looking at his past deaths, looking at his memories, and that's how he gets his memories back. That's the only way I could think of. There has to be something that reminds him. Something has to remind him. Something, someone. That someone could be Gluttony, and they just kill Gluttony, or like they get the Gluttony effects reversed. But then that got me thinking. Wouldn't that Gluttony stuff be like way later? I don't think Gluttony's gonna be in this season. Gluttony's gonna be in this season, obviously. We see them in the opening. But who is to say that we're gonna confront them this early? Can we even beat them? Will Shala even help? I don't know. But would it be this early? If it's this early, where next episode or like next 2 episodes we see Gluttony, I guess that would make sense. But if we don't, then I think there's some stuff we'll see in Core 2. So I don't think we just kill Gluttony or make the Gluttony effects reverse if it is Gluttony. Because I still think that maybe it's like some book stuff that we read, right? So otherwise, without Gluttony in the picture, how else will he remember? How else will he remember, guys? How else? He has to get reminded by something, someone, or a trial. What trial? A trial with everything that he's gone through. Some sort of trial. That he goes through every single thing or detail. And boom. Exactly my point as well. I'm glad you brought that up. You know, I'm glad you brought that up. Is killing the Gluttonies even the only solution? That's why I said reverting the effects, not just killing, right? I said kill, like revert, you know? Killing isn't the surefire way, dude. Okay? Killing isn't the surefire way. So, we don't even know what the effects of regressing are. So, I don't know. But I deadass think we're gonna get a trial, boys. We're gonna get a trial. I think so. Look at the white background. White background. Trial. Look at the floor. Look at this. This is trial. This is trial territory. Look at Gluttony. Look at Gluttony. Gluttony's in the season. Look at this right here. He's falling down the stairs. I don't know if there's symbolism where he's actually gonna fall down the stairs. It would be a crazy death if he like falls down the stairs or some shit, but I think it's a trial. And obviously the surroundings get like hit with blood and stuff, but I think this is just symbolism. Where is he going to? I don't know where he's going towards though. I don't know. But yeah, I think it's a trial. I definitely think that it's gonna be trial stuff. I think so. It would just make so much sense. How else would he remember? You know? So yeah, I think it's an interesting thought, right? Even though it's not the Subaru that we know, the hair, the cape, it's all different. It's all different, but interesting. You know? Can we take them? Remember, Julius had full power loss of 2v1 against Roy. Yeah, exactly. That's also another thing. That's another thing. Even if we fight Gluttony, let's say the effects are to kill Gluttony, and that's how we revert everything. Let's say it's that. Can we kill Gluttony? Are we strong enough? Would it be I don't know. Would it be whatchamacallit? Would Shala help kill us Gluttony? I think she would. Maybe if Master Subaru tells her to. Like, give her an order, because she follows orders, right? You know? So I don't know. I don't know if Shala's help would be enough. It could be. So I don't know, like, yeah, I know, CT, that's what I'm reading right now. I read that. So I don't know if we can beat them Gluttony, to be honest. But yeah. So that's in terms of how he's gonna get his memories back, because I know he's gonna get his memories back. There's no way he doesn't get his memories back, and there has to be a way for him to learn them back or get them back. Now, there was something else I wanted to talk about. So, Aura Monster. No meme. Okay. No meme. No meme. Aura Monster. Like dead ass. That moment. That's the reason I'm saying Aura Monster is because that's the only way you can like really understand what the fuck I'm talking about. So we have a Subaru. We have a Subaru where he has no development. No development. Subaru has no development and he's gonna be scared. People are going to talk to him about like everything that he knows or he's done, or like he doesn't know, or like what he's done, the accomplishments and all that. My theory, if we go based off how Aura Monster looks, Subaru has no development and he's going to be that Subaru. I think that he's going to die a lot. He's going to die a lot. People are going to tell him about a version of himself that seems a hero and knows too much, or like that's like the GOAT, right? The perfect run. With all of that, I think his brain, I think he's going to go insane. And when he goes insane, what does Aura Monster look like? That video. He looks insane. He looks crazy. I mean, he's right here. Wait, what the fuck? I'm talking about Aura Monster. He's right here. The fuck? Let's go over here, bro. He's right here, man. I think that he looks demented. That's the word I'm looking for. Demented. Deadass? Deadass? I think he'll go insane. The hairstyle. Holy shit. Can we see like we get the close up, right? We don't get like a different frame, but look at his smile right here. Look at his smile right there, boys. Listen, maybe he dies too much. Maybe maybe he'll die too much. The people telling him about everything he's done and him now being able to believe that that's the person who he is, and telling him about a version that is a hero and done all these accomplishments when in the real world he's accomplished nothing and he's a shut-in, right? He thinks of himself as a loser. With all the people telling him about all these things, and it seems like he forgot, he will end up like this. Boom. He's gonna end up like this. He's gonna end up just like this because of everything he's gone through. With all like the memory stuff and like that he lost and people telling him about all that, and then maybe he's gonna die a lot. The reason that I think he's gonna die a lot is because, first of all, it's ReZero and it's Arc 6, and I think that people have already told me. I think Ekinat also mentioned. I think Ekinat was the one that mentioned the whole thing about like he's gonna die more times than all the seasons combined. If we just go based off all this, I think he's gonna die so much that he's going to go insane, combined with the people telling him about a version of himself that he doesn't even know himself. And then it's going to drive him insane. And I think we're gonna get Aura Monster and him going fucking crazy because of this frame right here. He's gonna go fucking crazy. Makes sense, right? I think that makes sense. That's a completely different theory though, right? I'm just giving you different theories of what this episode really like makes me think. It doesn't have to be exactly just about like the fact that like like what happened with the memory wiping, but I still wanted to mention that because I think that'll be it. I could be wrong though. Obviously, it's a theory. Keep in mind it's a theory. Okay, I could be wrong, but I'm just saying that like it would make the most sense because how else would you end up this way? How else would you end up this way, demented? A Subaru who dies way more times than all the seasons combined, with all the people telling him about stuff that he never did, according to himself now with the memory wiping. A Subaru pre-Isekai that just got here with no development. I think this makes sense. A dream? What, it's a dream or what? Are you referencing Greed If? I saw a dream where I died 100 million times. Like it could have been Greed If Subaru's right here or something. I don't know, but probably not. So yeah. Is there anything else I want to talk about? Is there anything else that I wanted to talk about? I mean, not really, but I mean, maybe. You know what? There's something a little also I want to mention. Let's look at the characters here. Julius. Julius. What was the last thing that they said to each other, man? It's like around here, bro. They had like this argument right here, right? Julius wants to take over with the whole Anastasia situation, the whole Irina situation. He wants to be the best knight, and he wants to take care of all of this, right? They had this little argument right here, right? But here's the issue. They had this right here. This like little like discussion. This is the last thing they talked about. This is the last thing they talked about. And now Julius lost that one friend who had everything, who knew everything about him. So that one friend, it's just gone. Now Julius has no one. Julius has no one. The one person that knew him and pretty much had everything about him is gone. And now Julius is alone. And it would be crazy if Julius has his own Arc 3 Subaru moment. What if Julius crashes out? Julius crashes out and he goes like fucking crazy or some shit. Maybe not goes crazy. He gets mad. That would be something to fucking see. Like some Arc 3 Subaru but Arc 3 Julius type shit. But that's pretty much what that means for Julius. He has no one left. His best friend is gone. It's over. So it'll be interesting to see how he reacts. And his actions moving forward, and just his emotions and his whole point of view on things. Now, who else? Obviously, Ram. What do y'all think? How do y'all think Ram will react? Because the reason that Ram reacts this way, the first line right here, where is it? Yiddish, pervert. The reason she acts like this is because obviously, they're good friends. You could call them like they're like siblings. And she does this banter, this like, trolling stuff, right? But now that it's getting serious and Subaru's memories are actually gone and that person that she knew and cared about is gone, I think she's gonna actually like react. She's gonna be very sad, very broken. And also, Subaru is the one and only person, the last person that remembers Rem. The one person that remembered Rem and how Rem acted and who Rem was. Rem, it's gone. Subaru's gone with that as well. The person that she cares about, the person that she bantered and all that, it's all gone. The jokes and all that. And as well as the fact that the person that knew Rem deep down, that's also gone. So I think that will also be very heartbreaking for Rem. Very sad. I don't know about crashing out, but I'd definitely be very hurt. It'll be very painful for her. But one thing that people should definitely not expect is for her to like obviously to keep like calling him a pervert or anything, because it's getting serious now. So that's one little thing about Ram. The whole Rem thing as well. Then what about Amelia? Fuck. Shit. I don't want to see Amelia sad, bro. EMT is gonna be so sad. She's gonna be so heartbroken, confused at how it happened, how this happened. And bro, episode 1, bro, this is the beginning. That person from the very beginning is just gone. Not really episode 1, my bad. I like episode 2 or 3, whenever they whenever she pulled up to the Lou house, because obviously that version of Amelia is a completely different version. So whenever that beginning, right, it's gone. The Subaru connection, like Subaru doesn't know who she is. I mean, I guess it's chill because Subaru still loves Amelia technically, because like she a baddie. She got white hair. She's an elf, right? Because of the figurines that he had in, you know. Remember the figurines that were shown in his room during the season 2 flashbacks in like episode 4 and 5? Subaru is still gonna be obviously fawning over Emilia and, you know, and all that, but the deep connection that they had at the deep connection is the most important thing. The deep connection and the memories that they've gone through, all of that is gone. And man, it's gonna be really fucking painful to see Emilia's reaction. But then let's get a frame of her, man. Let's get a frame. What about Betty? Is there a zoom in of her face? I guess right here. We could go right here. Betty. What about Betty, bro? Don't leave Betty behind. Don't leave Betty behind, man. So Betty has been left behind. And it's just gonna be so fucking rough. God, dude, the deep connection, the whole, bro. What did we literally get this exact episode of Betty, bro? The deep connection with Betty, man. The slice of life moments that we were getting here with them eating food. Oh, gone. The sweet moments right there with them two are gone, and then obviously the most important moment being the library moment. The library moment is gone. That shit is just, it's just all gone, and Betty's the one to remember. So technically Betty was left behind, which is a very sad thing to think about. And yeah, that is so sad. Every character is going to be devastated. Every character is going to be devastated. There's different levels to this shit, but there's something that will not change. Every character will be devastated. I wonder how Erinda will react. Maylee, I don't know, but Julius, Betty, Emilia, Ram. It's gonna be rough. That's gonna be rough. And another thing that I also want to point out, Subaru. Now this is completely unrelated, to be honest. This is something else I want to talk about. Is how Subaru looks like. Why does he look like this? Hold up. Right here. Frame. Right here. So, let me ask y'all this, chat. Did Rem look different when she got Glundied? Did Krush look different when she got Glundied? Like, did the characters look different? No. Exactly. No. So, going back to the Glundy theory, I don't think it's Glundy. We're going into a different territory here with memory wiping and regression. Regression. That's the word I'm looking for. Regression. It's not just the whole memory wiping thing and Glundy. No. He looks different here. So, some sort of body mind regression effect came into play here, which would also make sense, the whole trap thing about the books and stuff. But here, look at him. The hair looks different, and look at his face. I want you to look at his eyes. Look at him. Look at the design here. He looks like such a baby. He looks so wholesome, so sweet. And if we go back here, let's get a frame of Subaru. Dude. I think it's like the design. Here he looks tired. Bro, here he looks tired. Went obviously like 20 something deaths. This looks like the face of a Subaru. Dude. This looks like the face of a Subaru that went through episode 15, you know, all of that. So that's the face of that Subaru. And obviously his hair is different here. But over here, he looks different. He looks like definitely the pre-isekai Subaru that looks very innocent and sweet and you know and all that, right? He doesn't have that intensity. That's the word I'm looking for. He doesn't have the intensity, the fatigue, the burden, any word you want to use. He doesn't have that in his face before, but now, or I mean like now. I mean, now he doesn't have that. Now it's a face of how how you say it in the chat right there. He looks like someone who didn't see hell. He hasn't seen hell, y'all. He hasn't seen hell. So, another thing, maybe the theory about body regression and it not being gluttony could also be wrong. What if it's just an animation choice? What if it's just to show that like he changed back to normal, like back then? But like that would be so lame. Is that really it? I would love to think that it's like body regression or some shit, and not just memory regression. Like everything changed, even his hair and his look. I really would love to believe that it's just not something as simple and as lame as that, man. Honestly, I really don't know, man. Ooh, that would be also interesting to think that Emilia said Subaru's eyes are scary and intimidating, like how they normally see, but now it's like, what about his eyes? Are they intimidating now? What about his black curses? You know what? I don't know if we'll ever know. Will we ever know? Because think about it like this, guys. Let's say it's a body regression. All the way back to Arc 1. He doesn't have his authorities or his witch factors. But that's the thing. It would actually make sense. You know why this would make sense? Because he's not going to know if they exist or not. So like, if they disappear, there's really no difference. You know what I mean? If he forgot the memories of the witch factors and all that, he's not gonna know they exist or how to use them. So like, if it's taken away and it's a body regression thing to Arc 1, it would actually still work. Because he just wouldn't even think about using them. Like, maybe he doesn't have the witch factors anymore. But then no. That completely destroys my theory. The memory wiping theory, my god, what the fuck, I'm losing my words here. About like him getting back the memories. That would mean that like he has to get the witch factors again, which I don't think would make sense. So I don't think it's that. Maybe it's not body regression. Because like that would mean he has to get everything back. And they're gone again. And the only thing he would get back is his memories. But that would make no fucking sense. Unless the body regression effect goes up until a way they figure out a way to get his body back. And then he gets the witch factors back somehow. But like, how would that even work? Body change? Pfft, I don't fucking know. I don't know. I don't think that would work. I don't think it would be body regression. Body regression seems very iffy with the fact that he has the witch factors inside of him. That means he would have lost them, and he only gets memories back, which would make no sense. And yeah, exactly. He would need to drink Echidna's tea again. No, I don't think it will work. So that's why it's weird. That's why I'm just like, is it just an animation choice? Is it just to show him like how he was before? Or is it, but I don't think so. I think it's deeper than that. It's no way it's something as lame as that. I think it would actually make sense why he looks like this. You know? Like He just went back to Arc 1. But like, if it's only memories, why would it change his appearance? And then I don't think it's gluttony. Because if you get gluttony, I don't think your appearance changes. It's like, what the fuck? I don't know. I don't know how this would make sense with how he looks like here. The memory wiping theory works with the whole going to the library and the read thing, but then this doesn't work. The body, how he looks, this doesn't fucking work. This is the most doubt I have. Why does he look like this? The hair, his eyes, his look. I mean, unless his hairstyle and his eyes change because he doesn't have the memories. I don't know what the hair looks, bro. The hair looks like this because his hair gel is just like gone, or maybe his eyes just look like this because he doesn't have the stress of all the deaths, and that's it. His hair gel ran out, bro. Or maybe with whatever happened, his hair looks like this. I don't know. Like, I don't know if it would be gluttony because of this, and then I don't know if it's about body regression and body changing. So, but I do get the but listen. But I get the pain and stress. The eyes looking different, that makes sense with the pain and stress. It makes sense. He doesn't have that. The hair though. That's what's throwing me off, by the way. The hair is throwing me the fuck off. Like, what? Subaru's hair here is throwing me off. Look at his hair here, bro. Bam. But then over here, it's just weird. So it's like indifferent. So it's like, how the fuck does this make sense? I don't know. So, I think that the body regression theory only works if you don't take into account the fact that like he would lose his witch factors, and then like, yeah, that would make no sense. Honestly, that would make no fucking sense. And the fact that he would have to get them back, how the fuck would he get them back? Where the fuck are the witch factors then, huh? So I don't think so. So yeah, no hair gel equals hair bangs down. Exactly. He doesn't have like the style. There's no styling here. So that's why it could also make sense that, you know, maybe body regression and all that, but I don't think so. I really don't think so. So I think that's looking too deep into it. I want to stick with this though. The read theory. He went into here, he read the books, he read something that he wasn't supposed to, the trap stuff, and maybe he was supposed to read, he read something he wasn't supposed to, and boom, memory wiping gone. That's just the issue. That's just the fucking issue. I just don't know what it means for his hair and how he looks like here. The eyes make sense though. The eyes just makes perfect sense because he doesn't have the pain and the stress and all that he went through. So this makes fucking sense. The hair gel. The fucking hair. The fucking hair is throwing me off. I can't, dude. But yeah. That's the issue right there, man. I think that's it though. Is that all I wanted to talk about? I talked about the possible theories. Let me go through here. I talked about how the people would feel with Subaru's reactions and my predictions on that. The slice of life moments that we got here. Shala, I don't think it was Shala that cooked Subaru. I mean, there was like a sus line here. There's a creepy line. I don't know if she wants us to stay, but I don't think it would have to do with him getting his memories wiped. Unless Shala wiped his memories just because she will brainwash him into turning into Flugel. Yep. She wants him to stay here forever because he's Flugel. Yep, I cooked, guys. Yep, I fucking cooked. I don't think so. They wouldn't leave the tower? Exactly. I don't fucking know. I don't know. I don't think that makes sense, but that'd be funny. But I think I already saw that illustration, man. I already saw the illustration. Yeah, it looked creepy. Oh my god. I don't think that would make sense. I don't think so. I don't think so. But it'd be a funny thing that like Shala is the mastermind. She lobotomized Subaru with the needle. Yo, you might have cooked with that, bro. You might have cooked with that. Maybe it's not memory wiping. Maybe it's not effect. Maybe he just got lobotomized, bro. And now Shala has Subaru all to herself, and he will get brainwashed into being Flugel. Yep. And believing to be Flugel. GG's. I solved ReZero, guys. Yep. No. 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 Definitely fucking not. That's funny though, right? It's Shaw's plan all along. Anyway. I don't think so. The actual thing you can actually say about this though. Let's get real here. The actual thing you can say about this. Ekina did mention that there's a possibility where Subaru is told about the achievements and who he is and what the people have seen about him, right? But then Shala will say that he's Flugel and that he's her master. What about Subaru of Arc 1, like this Subaru that we got right now, choose? What he would choose to believe? What he would choose to want? What will he choose to want, bro? Maybe he's like, yo, Shala, yo, I'm Shala's master. God damn, bro. You know what? Maybe it's some Kazuma shit. Yeah, I remember that one clip of Kazuma and Konosuba. Like he got told to be the I forgot the girl's name, but to be the master, he was like, absolutely. I mean, maybe he just folds. Maybe he just fucking folds. But I don't know. I don't think so. So I don't know exactly how it's gonna go with this, but Shala, I don't think Shala really has to do with the fact that he got his memories wiped. It's just a lot of memes. I don't think it's actually like has to do with him losing his memories. Yeah, I talked about that. I talked about the what else? Slice of life moments here and how they felt. Bro makes 2 clips together? Did I? Over here, what else? I already talked about this, right? The Julia stuff. We already talked about we know about the birds now. The birds are not whatchamacallit? The birds are not Pandora. They're just related to Pandora. They're just the cameras for Pandora. And Julius now doesn't remember Subaru. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I already talked about the reactions and the theories of this moment right here. That maybe the bottom line is simplified. The possible theories. 1, he went into here because he got the idea that he needed the read book, and that's why he said earlier about the idea about him having to take away to deal with Reed, and that's why he went in here to get Reed's book. And then when he went into here to get Reed's book, he got led by the bird or by something to the books, and then he got the books, and then information overload, or maybe he got trapped by a book with a spell or something, and then he forgot everything. That's the theory right there. Information overload. Memory wiping ability or spell on a book or trap or something. And boom, GG's. And the bird maybe led him to it. Number 2, gluttony. But the gluttony theory has so many holes in it. But like every theory has a hole in it. But like this one, I really don't think so. And I would love to be proved wrong because that'd be funny. But I don't know if it was gluttony. Because if it was gluttony, that means they're sneaking around here, or maybe they're a bird or something, and then they just like ambush Subaru, and they're waiting to ambush everyone. So I don't know about gluttony, but that's also a theory. Number 3. What's number 3? Okay, this is a funny one. That he got led to Echidna's book. He opened the book. Echidna's life book. Let me specify. Echidna's life book. The book in the library. He read the book, and in that book, Echidna was using her authority to read the, to use and read the Tomb of Wisdom. And while she was doing that in her life, Subaru read that in her memory and got cooked. But no, I think that was crazy. That's just some shit I made up. I ain't gonna lie. I don't think that would make any fucking sense. But interesting. That's number 3. Number 4. I think people in the chat have been saying it the entire time. He fell. He fell on his head. Bro just lost his memories. He just fell. He hit his head. You know what's a funny thought, guys? You know what's a funny thought I just had? He lost his memories because he fell. He fell. He fell. Where's the frame? Where's the frame of him falling? He fell. He was going up the stairs or down the stairs, and he fell. He fell on his head, and boom. Now, honestly, that would make no fucking sense, because what did he just die from this? This looks like something you would die to. I don't think he survives this. I don't think he survives this, dude. I don't think. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe he just fell on his head, bro. Maybe. 5. What's number 5? Is there even a number 5? I think I already said everything. Son, that's like 100 feet. I don't think it's that one. I don't think it's that one. Number 5. Number 5, it's he broke a rule, but like the effects of the rules are not specified, so Shala cooked them. Or what are the rules breaking? I just thought of this. Every rule that is broken has a different effect, and he got his memory wiped. Boom. No, that doesn't make sense, because Shala specified that every death would be just killing machines, so no. Number 5 is just the fact that Shala got him. But that's like the worst theory. That's the worst theory, because she's just a killing machine, not a memory wiping machine. So, number 6. It's a dream. I saw a dream. And yeah. That's actually, no, that's the worst theory. That's even worse than the Shala one. It's a dream. Number 7. It's Daniel. Daniel got him. Happy birthday, Daniel. Daniel fucking got him. There's no number 8, I think. That's pretty much it, though. I think that's it. I think I've talked about everything. I'm pretty sure, right? Theories about what happened here. Number 8. Pandora. So, the thing about that theory, that's my original theory. My original theory, if y'all remember the reaction, was Pandora. And that Pandora wiped his memories. But Pandora, why would Pandora do that? And is Pandora even here? Because she has the birds. She has the birds, but why would she be here? The Pandora contract is the one that I made this time in this video, though. Right? Because the original one of the reaction was the Pandora just being here and wipe his memories. But the number 8/number 9 is that he made a contract with like Pandora or something and lost his memories, but I think that's also a bad one. I don't think that would make sense either. I don't think that would make any sense either. The strongest one, I think that the strongest one is definitely, most definitely, the going into the library, I think. And whether it would be a memory wiping effect, a spell effect, or whatever the case may be with what happened when he read the books, whether it be the Echidna book that he saw in the memories, whatever the fuck it may be, I think it has to do, it definitely has to do with the library, because he thought of an idea of how to beat Reed, and I think that's the only possible one. I think that's the one that makes the most sense. I think that's all the theories, right? Theory number 9, we were fucked to the point of memory loss last night. Yeah, I think that's it though. Did I mention Gluttony? I think I mentioned Gluttony, right? I think that's all the theories and pretty much everything we have to talk about. I also talked about some extra things about. Our monster and the fact that, like, I think that he's going to lose his mind, die a lot, be told about all the things he did, and he's not going to believe him. And then with all the stress, he's going to probably go insane, and that's what's going to lead to that. I also talked about the fact that, like, Shala might kill him, and we're going to see one of the deaths be Shala because he forgot the rules. The memory wiping didn't get the rules. And there's some other things that I probably already mentioned, and I'm probably just not remembering, but I think that's it. Talked about the theories, talked about the characters, and how they felt about Subaru, how Subaru would feel, right? It would be very, very hard. And I think that's it. Pretty sure. I think that's about it for the discussion about this episode. There's so much to talk about, but I think that's it. I'm looking at to see if, like, that's it though. Yeah. It's pretty much it. Yeah. That's it, guys. That's about it for today. Already mentioned the theories and all and what I think about the characters and maybe the future and what this means. So that's pretty much all, guys. That's pretty much it, guys. This is a very long video. If you made it this far and you're watching this entire thing, you might be the greatest of all time, because I don't. You're a goat. If you made it this far, just know you're a goat. If you made it this far, just know you're a goat. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today's video, man. Schizo. This is truly the most schizo video of all time. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed and you're new, subscribe, leave a like down below. And that is going to be it for today, guys. I will see you guys next time, man. See you guys.